Hello everyone, I'm Jesse, or GameOverJesse, as all of you may know me. Here with us for the Hylian Gamescast is Daniel, or Kept Bergerson, the Big D himself.
The Big D!
So, for those of you who have liked this segment in the past, we've been bringing it back. We started out with Breath of the Wild, then we did the Wind Waker, now we are doing Ocarina of Time. Next week, hopefully next week, if I can get free time, we will be doing Majora's Mask, maybe, since that is Chiblima's most recent game that she's played, and it's still fresh in her mind. But I thought it would be nice to go through Ocarina of Time and read some bad reviews. Who could possibly think Ocarina of Time is a horrible game?
A lot of people, apparently.
Yeah. So, for those of you who don't know, there are people that they will give their reviews and give it like a 0 or a 1 out of 10, but then their reasoning behind it is like, oh, well, you know, the graphics were okay, but, like, you can't save in this, and it has horrible multiplayer, or blah, 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 and it's like, well, it's Zelda. It's not supposed to have multiplayer. You can't give it a bad score for not having multiplayer, because, like, you wouldn't play a racing game and be like, it doesn't have a good selection of guns. Like, this is a horrible platformer. It's like, of course it is. It's Need for Speed. What are you doing?
It's Need for Speed. Why are you trying to drive off the cliff?
Yeah, so Daniel, do you have a bad review picked out?
Well, I do, but it's pretty short. I kind of want to go over more than just the one, because this one is just like...
All right, well, we can do like one or
sentence.
2 each, though.
It's a one sentence. They gave it 0 to 10. This is a user review from James. Thank you, James, for writing this piece of literature.
Mm-hmm.
He writes, another boring, tedious attempt by Nintendo that brings nothing new to the genre.
Okay.
That's it. Okay, well, here's the problem. So this was the first 3D Zelda game. This game literally invented targeting in 3D games.
Yeah.
Literally invented targeting
Yeah.
in games.
I'm at the bottom here, where everyone gives the game a 0.
Oh boy, it's
They're all like one sentence stuff.
They're all just one sentence rage.
Bob says Zelda is possibly the worst creation of all time. Warren B says it's Michael says pointless game, I'd rather count my fingers. Somebody says only give this a 2 because it's fun to watch other people fight the final boss. Couldn't hold my interest for any amount of time. So anyways, going to one that actually has an explanation, or at least I hope it does. This comes from Marcus, who says, the dungeons were very repetitive and always reused the same puzzle elements like blocks, torches, switches, etc. The items were rarely used outside of dungeons, like the magic hammer and mirror shield. I don't think there is a magic hammer in the game. Also, the game is a dungeon grind. You get the hookshot, then go straight to the forest temple, go to Goron City, speak to the child Goron, and go directly to fire. The story was kind of boring, and a rehash of A Link to the Pasts with an unsurprising twist at the end. There was very little plot development at all in the adult portion of the quest, basically just running around temple to temple with each sage speaking.
Okay.
Every boss. Also, the bosses are easy. Every boss can be defeated in 5 seconds with crouching steps. This is not Zelda 2.
That's not true. Like, man, I've been playing this game. You can't crouch stab Phantom Ganon because
you can't crouch stab any of the games.
You can't. Yeah, none of the bosses can be crouch stabbed.
Volvagia needs to be like shot with the arrows or the hook shot to come down, and then you have to hit him with the hammer. Then you can crouch stab him for like 2 hits, and then the process repeats. Morpha.
Jump attack.
You can't crouch stab.
He is water.
Phantom Ganon, as Daniel mentioned first, can't do it. Bongo.
You have to shoot him. Yeah.
Twin Rova.
You gotta use the shield to shoot them. So, yeah, really, if he just wrote, you have to shoot all that would have been better.
Queen Goma.
She's on the ceiling. You can't crouch stab her. You gotta shoot her first.
King Dodongo.
You throw a bomb at his mouth first. You can't crouch stab him. You'll get knocked into lava.
The aquatic something parasitic.
Baron
Baron, yeah, whatever the name is.
And you need the boomerang.
Ganondorf?
Or you gotta tennis with him.
Ganon?
You could crouch stab this. No, you can't crouch stab him. You
So
knock your
what-
sword away.
Okay, so from what I'm getting, you can't crouch stab any of the
None
bosses.
of the bosses.
You
Plus-
can't. The bosses
Yeah.
aren't necessarily repeatable because they're like you. They all are technically unique in their own way.
Yeah. Exactly. My favorite part, he mentions it like he mentions that it's a rehash of A Link to the Past, and then he starts saying all these things. It's just a dungeon grind and stuff like that. But what did he not think that A Link to the Past was a dungeon grind?
Mm-hmm. Another thing,
it kind of is. That's the thing. That is something that is similar between the two. Sorry. No, I'm just saying, like, A Link to the Past, once you pretty much just go one dungeon to the next. Like, that's the same thing. That's also what most Zelda games are. But
and it says the spoiler at the end. Like, what was it he said?
oh, there was
A
like
lukewarm spoiler, or what was it?
surprising twist. There was
Yeah, the unsurprising twist. I would say the twist comes like the early middle part of the game, where like now you're an adult and everything's destroyed. That lake you went to completely dried up. That volcano you went to, met all those rock people. They're all prison. Like,
they're all dragon food now.
you go home to the forest. There's monsters everywhere. All the Kokiri are scared or hiding or whatever. You go to Kakariko Village in the middle of the game. It's literally on fire. Like, the character development comes from saving all those places that you loved and trying to like get them to go back to normal. Like, that is the definition of character development. As much as Link can be developed without talking. But yeah, like going through the journey, helping everyone, finding out that like your new best friend named his son after you. Or no, your new brother named... You have a nephew now, is what I'm trying to say.
Yeah. One of these reviews rips on, get this, the frame rate.
Oh, okay.
Get this. Okay, Swag writes, his name is Swag. He writes, The Legend of Zelda Ocarina of Time for Nintendo 64 is one of the most overhyped games in existence. Absolutely terrible combat mechanics and runs at a staggering 20 frames per second. Yo, this game came out in the 90s. 20 frames per second, real good. Like, this review was written in 2015, probably by someone born in 2005. And they want to really get into journalism. I think it's cool to hate things.
Yeah, give...
and doesn't realize that the thing about technology is that in 2015, 20 frames per second would be pretty terrible for a game to release at.
Yeah.
But in 1997, 1998,
if you want
was cutting edge.
horrible frame rate, play Star Fox on the Super Nintendo.
Ooh, yeah, that's a leg fest.
Yeah.
Ooh.
So, are there any... Okay, here's one coming from My Boo or My Butt, My Boo 11. I don't know.
I'm gonna stick with my butt.
Yeah, all of you are only saying the game things in this game. All of you are only saying the good. Okay, that's it. Sorry. All of you are only saying the good things in this game, while I say all the bad things: bad graphics, old game, short game, bad ending. He's writing a review from 2017, and a negative he puts for Ocarina of Time is that it's an old game.
That's terrible. It's bad that old things are in existence.
Yeah, bad ending. Link just saves Zelda, that's it. No, he saves the entire kingdom of Hyrule, that's the thing. Like, you save each area individually, and then once you beat Ganon, you overall save the world. It's just you visually see him save Zelda, but the rest of it, it's also saved.
Yeah, there's a huge party.
The bad guy's defeated. That's it. Easy boss, impossible to finish without walkthrough. What?
Maybe you need to get good, my butt.
You can't cross in small fences. No sandbox mode in the end. Yeah. Like when the game sandbox mode just means you can go anywhere, do whatever you want. Like the game ends, you can do that. Bad drama, wrong story. Link raised the Volvega and give it to the Gorons. What they think that's better without that?
That's the manga.
Yeah.
Not the
he
game.
doesn't even give it to the Gorons in the manga. Like I think he might get. I don't know. He may have. I just know like he has to kill it, and then the head comes back and haunts him while he's walking across the desert.
He actually says wrong story.
Oh.
Wrong story, and then he cites that.
Oh.
So he's saying that they got the story of the game wrong.
Mm-hmm.
Does he know?
So the comic that was based off of the game.
Yeah, that's the correct story according to him.
It's better to.
That's the right one.
It's better if they add multiplayer. They're making a lot of remakes. Why don't they add a remake in that game? Add a better story based on the comics. In the comics, he doesn't go to half of the dungeons. And add multiplayer. I'm so disappointed at this game. I will rate it.
Okay. So people are saying this a lot. They did remake it in 2011, guys. But also,
go to Ocarina of Time 3D. Just we're gonna do one from this just to see if anyone has gotten smarter.
No, I doubt it. This was only 2 years ago. This review. No, they did. My butt here is not smart enough.
Did my butt get any smarter?
Did my butt get any smarter? No.
All right, so, I got it here.
I'm shocked at this.
Just to see if it's the least bit
different. Without a walkthrough. Okay, in the early 2000s. Okay, when I was still in elementary school, I could beat this game without a walkthrough. So, what's the big idea?
So, Hannah Banana says,
"Oh boy, that's how you know it's gonna be good."
I feel the game feels a bit old and lacking. First of all, I expected more in terms of its story, but disappointed. One thing that I find weird is the version of saying is a bit different. I saved at the castle level where you need to get past guards patrolling, but to my surprise when I loaded my save, found out I was all the way back to the level where you start a new game. On top of that, all the level where he starts a new game.
I think he means he's back in Link's house.
No, he's at the level where you start the game, Daniel.
My bad.
On top of that, all the monsters instantly respawn as you leave a zone. Yes, clean the monsters. Go to other room, come back. Ta-da, all the monsters are there. That's how you know you're supposed to be back in that room. That's how, because some of the dungeons do have backtracking. When a game has backtracking to let you know, yes, you are supposed to be backtracking in that specific room, that's what it does. If you go back to a room and it's empty, then it's like, hey, maybe I'm not supposed to be in this room. But if you go back and there are new monsters there, sometimes that means, yes, I gotta be in here. Come back, ta-da, all the monsters are there. I think with this current state of the game, it feels like a beta to me more than a complete game. I give it a 4 because the puzzles can be fun, but anything beyond that wasn't anything for me. There wasn't anything for me. So yeah, Hannah Banana says the only thing good about the game was the puzzles. Says it was a beta. If only he knew what the beta was. The long, confusing history of Zelda 64. All right, Daniel, give us your last.
Well, there's not very much good quality stuff here, but I'm just gonna go ahead and reach it to this one.
There is one mixed review that is by a professional. Maybe we'll read that last.
Yeah. All right. Well, I haven't actually read this one through, but I'm just gonna jump in. It's the only one that's not like 2 sentences. So, man.
Oh, nice.
Barely average. This remake of the 1998 original is clearly a cash grab on Nintendo's part. Makes several slight improvements, such as in the graphics and gameplay, and the fact that the adventure is now portable. Apart from that, there isn't much difference that I can see. So that's the thing about remakes, man. That's pretty much
they
what
just
they
take
do.
the game and make it look slightly better?
They just make it look and sound better, and they leave the gameplay the same because it's a remake. People would be mad if they changed the gameplay too much. So.
If it was just a cash grab, then they would have released it for $60 in HD, so they could get more money from more people.
Yeah.
If Ocarina of Time HD would have been on the Wii U, the Wii U would have sold so much more.
Well, yeah, seriously.
Like that, even with the Switch, that's like the one thing everyone's asking for is like, give us Ocarina of Time HD with the Unreal Engine, even though they don't realize you can make any engine look like that. And like most of those Unreal Engine fan projects only look that great because they're just
like
reusing they're only reusing the model from Hyrule Warriors. So it's like, yeah.
So he says the gyro sensor feature is a mere gimmick that eventually just serves to annoy, as a slight movement will send the camera flailing in all directions, which that maybe you need to figure out how you're using that a little better. Though you can turn this feature off. Okay, well, then pretty much your point is moot. I honestly can't see how all these 10 out of 10 scores exist. It also seems like the majority of gameplay and puzzles are merely based on guesswork, and often leaves you wandering around aimlessly. Man, maybe you need to get good. In fact, after being stuck on one section of the game due to the game's crap controls, I ended up hurling my 3DS across the room in frustration. The fact that it's just so average makes it even more painful to play. I enjoyed the original when I was a kid, but I've outgrown my rose-tinted glasses, and what's on offer here is simply not up to scratch by today's standards. Okay, wait, I was pretty sure that this was a kid writing this because he's like getting stuck on the puzzle of this game, which are not all that hard.
Maybe when he was a kid, he had a parent who downloaded it off the eShop for the Wii, or the Virtual Console. Maybe that's what he meant when he was a kid.
If he got so frustrated that he threw his 3DS across the... that, like, doesn't seem like a very adult thing to do. Again, if this had released 10 years ago, or Nintendo didn't simply copy and paste the same tried formula and actually tried to innovate, it'd be everything I hoped for and more, but that isn't the case. Lazy, very disappointing. Maybe I got my hopes up, but I expect more from the legendary Nintendo, one of their headline franchises.
Yeah, it's a shame they took the game and made it exactly the same.
It's a remake, guys.
And then they gave us the remixed version as a bonus.
Yeah, maybe he should have played it in... No, wait. I was gonna say maybe he should have played it in hero mode, so then he could have some, changes that are more substantial. But then I was thinking, well, if the game was so hard that he was throwing his 3DS across the room.
Yeah, that's the thing. Like all three of us literally just like ran through the first dungeon, and you've been streaming Ocarina of Time lately.
Yeah.
Which is why I chose this.
There's been some moments where I've been like, I've had to stop and like scratch my head a bit, but for the most part, maybe it's just because I know the game so well, I've been actually like just breezing through it pretty easily. But I don't know, like, it's a remake, guys. They're not going to change like the core. That's not what any remake of any game is about. So it boggles my mind. They
even like did make the game slightly easier in the remake though, because now like you can have four
doors in the water temple.
Yeah, and you have 4 items now equipped instead of just 3. Like 2 on the touchscreen, 2 on the like physical buttons.
Yeah.
And then you have literally a color path in the water temple that literally shows you which direction to go, so you don't get lost. And then they have the gossip stones that you can crawl into that'll literally show you with gameplay where to go.
It like literally tells you how to beat like everything in the game. Yeah.
They got carried over from Skyward Sword.
Yeah, I didn't use it then, and I won't use it now. the most ignored feature in Skyward Sword for me.
Yeah.
Yeah, everything else was good.
And in case anyone's wondering, this is a mixed review from the... Doesn't really say who it's from, it just says a level. But these are supposed to be like actual websites and stuff. So whatever website level is, gives it a 70, and this is the only mixed review. Like, they're all positive or negative, or on this, it says, not entirely a bad remake. The Great Adventure catches everyone, but controls are clumsy, and 3D effects are far from what we expected. That's it. So, I guess he gives it a 70 for bad controls and bad 3D effects. But it's like...
I'm very confused about people criticizing the controls.
I am too.
It...
Like, you...
controls very well.
If you're good with the actual stick, you have that. If you're better with motion controls or like the gyroscope, then you can do that. Like, I know some people that will only play Splatoon with the motion controls.
Yeah.
And then, okay, well, I know Daniel who loves...
I'm all about the gyro controls, honestly.
Yeah.
Gyro is the best. Way better than pointer controls also.
All right, Daniel. Well, I think that about wraps it up. I've gone 15 minutes over. I had a babysitter for about an hour, so yeah, I guess we can end this. Okay. Who are you? What are we doing here?
I don't know. I have amnesia.
Jeez.
I'm Daniel. Please feel free to follow me on Instagram and Twitter, and most importantly on Twitch. Capt Bergerson. CaptBurgerson. And yes, as we mentioned, I've been streaming that very game, Ocarina of Time, on the N64, and I typically stream Tuesdays and Wednesdays, so feel free to jump in at some point on those days. And I was streaming this morning, for example, so we just have a very good time. It's that's who I am. That's me. But who are you?
I am Jessup.
Jessup.
If you haven't noticed, we haven't had a video upload for about a week because I've usually, if I have my daughter while we have a podcast, I can wait if it's like super late until she's asleep and do the podcast, or I can have someone watch her for a few hours. But this past week or so, I have not had anyone able to do that, so that's why there's not been any videos on the channel, because I can't edit when I don't have free time. Yeah.
No. That makes it hard.
Yeah. But yeah, so that's that. If you've been wondering why, that's the reason. Used to, I was able to, there's a few videos I had a long time ago where you can watch them, and it's like me holding my daughter, like rocking her to sleep while I'm doing a video, which was a possibility. But now she's like twice as heavy, and she can also talk, so you can't really do that now because, yeah. It could have made the video better. I don't know. It's a possibility. I have no idea what I'm doing. I think Tubes mentioned she might do a stream sometime on the channel. Thursday, whenever that is.
Yeah, something like
that. Daniel has been streaming on his channel as well. Ocarina of Time, as he mentioned. Ilya's been doing Banjo. Tubes is going to be doing Twilight Princess. Did she have to get a Wii U from you? What was that situation?
I think she got a Wii U from Cam, but I lent her my copy of Twilight Princess HD and a couple of amiibos to use.
Ganondorf.
So I gave her Ganondorf and the Wolf Link amiibo. So, good luck to her.
It's like you give her one amiibo and it's Ganondorf.
It's like, yeah, I give her two.
This will help you.
One, you need the Wolf Link one for the extra dungeon, right? And the Ganondorf one is more just to make everything funnier. So,
Kayla says, "Can there be more DK rap in the future?"
Hell yeah.
There was a stream that Ilya, Daniel, and I had. Maybe someone else. Might have been Misclick. I don't remember. Where we listened to the
Tube was on there.
Bohemian Rhapsody version.
Yeah, I think it was the four of us, wasn't it? Wasn't it?
I don't think.
I don't know.
I had to send it to Kayla because I don't think she really knew what it was.
Is this the real life? Is this just in the sea? Caught in the lens. No escape from reality.
After this, we're leaving, guys.
Eyes, blue up to the skies and see. He's the leader of the bunch. You know him well. He's finally back to kick some tail. His coconut gun can fire in spurts. If he shoots ya, it's gonna hurt.
And my phone died.
Oh no.
It was too much for it to handle.
That was perfect timing. Like, that was a good spot.
Alright. Well, thank you for joining, Daniel. Thank you for watching, everyone.
Thank you for having me, Justin.
Bye.
Bye, everybody.
Hey everyone, it's me again, Elia Rose. I just wanted to say thank you so much for watching this video. And you know what? If you're a fan of videos like this, you should totally subscribe and give this video a like and comment below to let us know what type of videos you would like to see us create in the future. And if you would really like to support all of us here at the GameOverJesse channel, please consider purchasing a GameOverJesse t-shirt or becoming a Patreon at patreon.com/GameOverJesse, where you can receive many rewards, such as getting shoutouts, having any topic or theory that you select discussed on the podcast or made into its own video, having your question answered, joining on as a guest on the podcast, and playing with us during our Twitch live streams at twitch.tv/GameOverJesse, and much, much more.